Kevin, and this is Flash. Flash is a two-toed Linnaeus sloth, and we're going to be getting started with a sloth encounter here in just a minute. We were going to get started a little bit earlier, but sometimes people are trying to figure out where to go and all that, and it takes them a minute, which is okay. But we restarted the feed and everything, so if you don't see us on one of our social media channels, we'll probably be on another one. We are located in Benton, Tennessee, halfway between Chattanooga and Knoxville. We have over 150 animals. This morning we're going to be hanging out with Flash. We're going to feed him. So Flash is about 8 years old, but we have 3 sloths here. We have Flash, Zoe, whose birthday was December 16th, and then we have Dash. Dash is the baby and really, really cool. Some of the other animals that we have here are kangaroos that you can bottle feed, Scottish Highland cows, we have llamas, alpacas. Oh, guess what? We have spider monkeys. So if you've ever wanted to hang out with a spider monkey, you can do that here at Ocoee Riverside Farm. You can also do a horse ride, and we're going to be starting to do horse rides off-site soon. Here we go. Sometimes people's expressions when they're walking in, because I think it's really cool. Is she coming?
Ready. Just about.
Is she excited?
She's very excited.
All right, we're excited. We're going to watch. All right, guys. Sometimes when people see sloths for the first time, it's really awesome. So I like to try to show how excited they are because, I don't know, I just think it's awesome. And you guys get to see the cool mural. And then look down there in the bottom. Do you see those little red bags? Those have baby kangaroos in them. How cool is that? So we'll be getting started here because when she comes in, she's gonna be looking at this guy. How awesome is that? So this is Flash. He is our two-fingered or two-toed Linnaeus sloth. And I think he is the coolest guy ever. He's got a little bit of food on his nose. I think he's so cute. What you doing there, Flash? Huh, bud? I think his fur is so cool looking. All right. I think we're about to get started. So she's about to come through that door, and it's gonna be pretty awesome. I just like how excited people get when they see animals for the first time, especially the sloths.
Flash is already down and ready for us this morning, so I'm going to feed him his breakfast. He's obviously very excited about it.
How's it going?
Hi.
So all of this that is in his bowl is for him. You're welcome to feed him any of it. I know little bits here are a little bit short, so we may have to move this chair over to kind of get her up high enough. But when we go to feed him, we feed him just the very end of the stick there, and you let go of it, and he'll take in the rest of it.
Okay.
So
You want to
this chair
feed
over
him?
right here.
You don't. You need to feed him. He's not gonna hurt
And if
you.
you want to,
No,
he
you
is
just
so
hang out.
slow. You can give him real nice slow pets on his back like this, and you can actually feel how soft he is. So all of this is for him, so you can offer any of it
Okay.
for him. Flash is almost 7 years old now. When we first got him, he was already 3. He came from a facility where he was basically just observation beforehand. And so he wasn't ever really interacted with like this, was never held or anything like that. So it took him a long time to get to the point that we're at now. But slowly over, slowly conditioning him to be
He's not
around
hungry.
people. Sometimes he's picky, so you have to
Oh.
rotate through the different type of veggies in there.
Yeah,
He
I
really
want
likes
green
the green beans.
Okay.
And sweet potatoes usually are a winner as well.
I wonder what makes him move so slow.
Well, if you think about the natural diet that they eat in the rainforest, it's just leaves of the Sarcopia trees.
Oh,
So
okay.
all of that is really low in calories, and
Uh-huh.
it takes calories in order to create ATP, which is our energy source. And so since he doesn't have a whole lot of calories, he doesn't have a whole lot of energy, so he really can't move very fast.
Right.
And they can have short bursts of, quicker speed if they need to get away from something or if they're startled. But for the most part, they're very slow animals. And if they're not actively eating or sleeping, they're pretty much resting and digesting their food. You're welcome to pet him, just real slow down his
I was
back.
just gonna wait till he got done eating. You wanna pet him? You need to pet him. Look at him.
He's really soft compared to what he looks like. He looks
He
really,
really
wiry.
is.
He's just soft like a
Oh
little puppy
my
dog.
goodness.
So we've had Flash for a little over 3 years now.
What do you think? You got to pet him, Addie. He is so sweet. Hi. Hi. Is that a good thing? Now, do they sleep? They don't sleep hanging upside down.
They do.
Do they
yes,
really?
yeah. So a lot of people wonder how they're able to just hang like that for so
Yeah.
long and just not even get tired. And that's because for them, actually clamp down like that around, he's winking at you right now.
Oh.
Clamp down around the branch holding on to something is actually their relaxed state. So
Okay,
right
'cause their
now,
claws
he's not using any muscles or energy to hold himself up like that.
Look at that.
But for him to actually let go of that branch or reach for the next branch with that claw extended out,
Uh-huh.
that's when it's more strenuous for him to do that. And so for that reason, if a sloth were to actually pass away, holding onto a branch upside down, they would continue to hang there until something either knocked them off of that branch or something rotted.
And you wouldn't
So-
even know it.
Nope.
Wow.
I just think they were sleeping until a few days went by and they
Yeah,
started
yeah.
to decompose.
Oh, you are so sweet. He's 7.
He's almost 7, yeah.
Huh? You want to get up here and hold? You want to stand up on the chair? You're gonna have, or not hold him, but pet him?
Yeah, you can stand up on that
Here,
chair and
stand up
give
here.
him a
He'll
great
help you.
If nothing else, get a closer look at him.
Yeah. You want to hand him a bean or some zucchini? Get a green bean.
Beans are his favorite.
He loves beans. You need to do it for you. Silly girl. We'll leave here and you'll be like, I wish I could eat a bean.
She'll warm up. We got 30 minutes.
Yeah. You got a little runny nose, doesn't you?
So Flash is a two-toed sloth. You can see on the claws there, he's got 2 on the front and 3 on the back. All
Oh, yeah.
sloths have 3 claws on their back feet. It's only the front feet where they differ. And so it can be kind of confusing by saying two-toed because you think back feet. It makes
Yeah.
more sense to say two-fingered sloth, but they're technically called two-toed sloths. We only have the two-toed sloths here in captivity because the three-toed sloths are a lot harder to keep in captivity. Their diets are really sensitive. They can
Oh.
really only eat the leaves of the Sarcopia trees, whereas the two-toed sloths, we can feed them green beans, sweet potatoes.
So the
things like
Sarcopia
that.
tree or whatever, is that something that's in the rainforest
Yes,
only? So how do
yes.
you get them here? You have to
We
order-
don't.
Oh,
you
you don't?
can't
Okay.
get the trees here. That's
Okay.
why it's hard to keep the three-toed
I
sloth.
gotcha.
Because basically to own a three-toed sloth, you'd have to have a private jet as well to fly you to and from the rainforest once a week to get you those leaves, which is pretty
Well,
damn
that'd be
cheap for.
pretty good.
Well, not a whole lot of people have private jets though.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And even if they did, it probably wouldn't be the best for the environment anyway because they'd be plugging off, leaves
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
And they'd probably be bringing in massive amounts that would probably not make it for very long.
Why are your
so.
people so little? They got little also.
They do. They have very, very poor eyesight, and those pupils stay really small like that all the time.
Uh-huh.
They have a condition that's called rod monochromacy,
Uh-huh.
and that means that they only have rod cells in their eyes and no cone cells. So we have cone cells in the back of our eyes that allows us to see color,
Uh-huh.
but since they lack those cells, they are colorblind.
Oh.
And then what they do see is not just in black and white; it's basically just blobs and shapes. So he
Oh,
can
so
see us.
he really can't see us. He just
Yeah.
knows there's somebody here.
Exactly. So he sees a shape moving around here, and he sees something moving up towards his head there, but can't really distinguish
Can't
what
figure
it is.
out what it is.
Yeah,
Wow, that would be horrible.
yeah. And so since
So
their
do they have a
eyesight-
hard time protecting themselves in the wild?
Well, for a sloth, anything that the rod cells are what picks up motion, so they can see something moving at them. Even it's more enhanced than what it even actually is. And for that reason, they can be pretty startled by things moving by them. So for a
Okay.
sloth, even if a butterfly were to just fly in front of them kind of quickly, that could be pretty startling for them.
Yeah.
And for a sloth, the first line of defense for a sloth is they just want to get away. They want to get to the very end of that branch, away from whatever it is that scared them, and hopefully that thing will leave them alone.
Okay.
Now, if that thing was a jaguar or an ocelot or something that was trying to do it damage, then they would, be pressing that matter and going out on that branch after the sloth. Now, if they both ended up getting to the end of that branch where the branch is a lot thinner and that branch eventually broke under the weight of both animals, that's kind of best case scenario for the sloth, because the sloth is built to withstand a fall from up to 100 feet in the air. And so that you wouldn't think it by looking at them, those little spindly legs, you'd think they'd be really
So
easily
do they, when
broken.
they do fall, if they do that, will they land on their legs, their feet?
No,
or
so
their-
usually what they do is they kind of go spread eagle. They'll put all four limbs out and they'll kind of fall like a pancake.
That would hurt.
But for them, it's not really too bad. So they just really, they fall, like a pancake, and their bones are really pliable. So all of their ribs just kind of flex under their weight and
that's
then go
pretty
back
cool.
to normal. And then they also have a total of 46 ribs. So that's double what we have.
Wow, yeah.
And all of those ribs go all the way down right up against their hip bones, basically.
Okay.
So it's basically like a protective casing for them for all of their internal organs.
Yeah.
And then there's also a lot of connective tissue that's holding all of their internal organs in the right spot, so that when they do fall, they don't really sustain any type of internal damage from that.
Can I take a picture? Okay, let me take a picture.
All the crunches.
Oh, so sweet. I was watching a video once and there was a sloth, I guess it was in Florida, and it had gotten away from somewhere and it was laying on the middle of the road. And it was scared, I guess, and somebody stopped and they let him pick it, he let him pick pick him up.
Well, that probably wouldn't have been in Florida. The only places that they're
wherever.
native to is in Central and South America.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
down in places like Costa Rica and Guatemala, Honduras, places like that, the Panama, so they're really only down there in Central and South America.
Damn.
He said, "Who's got the green?"
You wonder where I'm going?
Gonna feed him another bean?
You can feed it to me. Don't be scared. You fed the camel the other day. Where I live, they have a 150-acre farm and they've got a big camel
Oh, wow.
on their farm.
We've got 4
10
camels
miles.
here.
Yeah, we saw one of them was as we came in, the white one. There's just white too.
Yeah.
Hey.
See if maybe he wants to sweet
Oh my
potato.
goodness. He wants you to pet him.
Beans. You gonna try to feed him a sweet potato?
His name is Sloth?
Yep. He says, "I'm hungry."
They feed me more, Addie.
You gonna feed him another one? Just wait till he finishes that bite. So a lot of people think that when they come here, they're kind of prepared for the sloths to be.
It's okay.
He's only
He's
reaching
not
out for the
gonna
green
hurt
bean.
He's not. We won't let him hurt
He's just reaching out because he wants you to give him that green
you.
bean.
Yeah, he wants that green bean. He's hungry for his breakfast.
He says, "You're taunting me."
You mean to come over there and stand beside you?
I can take pictures of both of you guys.
Okay,
too,
I'll
if you want me to.
video in that one.
Okay.
Okay, you have to do it.
Do you want a video or a picture?
It doesn't matter. Either one.
Just want to video you for a little bit.
Give it to me. There you go. Look how long your claws are. Oh. You're starving, huh?
Get me a sweet potato.
Here, there, get there.
Ah!
No, it's all right.
So since their eyesight is really poor, their sense of hearing is actually really good. So we do have to be kind of quiet and not
Quiet,
too
baby. Don't be
loud
loud.
with their
Don't
noises.
be loud, okay? Because he's got really sensitive ears. Look at it, he's holding.
Oh! I'm sorry.
That's all right. He's got really clumsy claws.
I'm sorry.
That's a long one, huh? They don't even have tails.
The two-toed sloths don't. Now, the
Okay.
three-toed sloths do have a little bit of a tail. So there's a few differences between the two-toed and three-toed. The three-toed sloths tend to be a lot smaller, whereas the two-toed here, they can get to be up to like 20 pounds. The two-toed don't really, or the three-toed don't really get much above 10 pounds.
Oh,
They're a lot smaller. They do have 3 vertebrae of the tail and 3 extra vertebrae in their cervical spine, so up in their neck. And they have the ability to turn their neck all the way back to look all the way back behind them.
Oh, wow.
Whereas the two-toed sloths cannot do that, but what he can do is when he extends all the way down like that, where he's hanging by just his 2 back feet,
Uh-huh.
he can rotate his spine all the way back. I can only go about halfway, but he can go all the way back behind him
Wow.
because he's got 3 extra in his lumbar spine. And that's really beneficial for them because, you know, they're really low in energy and they don't really have a whole lot of energy to be climbing around and expending that. And so if they're on one branch and there's a branch below them that they want to get to those leaves, instead of having to go all the way to the trunk of that tree, go down and then out that branch to get to those leaves that they're wanting, all they have to do is extend down by those 2 back feet and they can reach those leaves.
Oh,
And
okay.
then if they're extended down one way and there's something behind them that they want to get as well, they can just turn their spine and
That's
reach
crazy.
that. So it's a really cool way that they're designed to just be able to, you know, conserve as much energy as they
Mhm.
possibly can, because they can't be just expending a whole lot of it. So scientists used to think that sloths actually slept upwards to like 20 plus hours a day,
Wow.
but they recently changed that number to be a little bit less because they used to think that, you know, looking from just the back of him, you might think that he's sleeping because he's
Yeah.
not moving, and they could stay in that position for a long time. But if you come around to the front side, you can see that his eyes are open. And a lot of times what they do too is if they're just resting, the kind of position that they'll put themselves in is they'll curl all the way up real close to that branch into a little ball and put their head in between their front legs. So you'd think they were sleeping, but a lot of times they do that and they're fully awake. They just don't have enough energy to be moving around.
Gotcha.
So they're just digesting their food.
You
So-
would think too that the blood, all the blood would
Mhm.
rush
You would
out
think
their
that because
legs.
for us,
That's
you know,
what
if we were to
happens.
do a handstand or something, all of the blood's going to be rushing down because we're
Right.
designed to be upright creatures. But for them, they're designed to be in all different types of positions. So he can hang like that. He can hang like how he did a minute ago by just his back feet.
Okay.
And they do occasionally come down once a week to go to the bathroom.
I was gonna
When
say, do
do
they ever
that-
get down from
Yeah.
there?
When they do that, you know, if they fall out of the tree, they're completely on their stomach crawling.
Right.
But if they come down to use the bathroom, they're basically in this position. They're upright,
Okay.
holding onto the trunk of that tree, going to the
Oh,
bathroom.
okay, gotcha.
So their circulatory system is actually extremely adaptable to be able to adapt to all different types of positions that they can put themselves into. So right now, in the position that he's in,
And you would think his
they're
neck would get
still,
tired.
yeah, there's still, the valves in his bloodstream has specific valves that can pump harder to reach all the way up to the very ends of his claws and all the way to his head. And then if he were to let go with his front legs and just extend all the way down, that circulatory system will change and pump even harder up to his toes while not allowing it to pull all the way down to his head.
That's amazing.
Did you just now notice the baby kangaroos over there?
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, they're just hanging out in there. They're
Look
little
at them in their little
supervisors.
pockets. Oh my gosh, aren't they cute? How old are they?
Rachel is about 8 months and Phoebe is about 7 months. And there's a big difference between the two. You can see Rachel with her head poking out there.
Yeah.
Phoebe's small enough she can't even poke her head out the side just yet unless she really, really tries. So they
You
grow
know,
really quickly.
I was watching another video of kangaroos, like an adult kangaroo, and their legs are
Oh, yeah.
huge.
Yeah, they're massive animals.
They
can
are.
do-
They're. I just never have really paid that much attention, but to see they're just huge.
Oh yeah, they've got great big muscles, and we've got our intact male kangaroo out there, Rough. We bottle raised him,
Oh.
and so we bottle raised him from a very young age. And nutritionally, they need it only up to 10 months old, but we bottle raise our baby kangaroos for 18 months,
Okay.
just to ensure that they're really comfortable around people and they're really, you know, bonded to
Right.
people. And so our male kangaroo out there, it was actually our breeder, saw a video of John going up to him and going, "Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?" And Ruff's face just right there next to his. And he, you know, had never seen a friendly male kangaroo before.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, you cannot go in the same enclosure as a male kangaroo because you'll be messed up.
Oh, I would not
Yeah.
want to. I've
Yeah.
seen them where they went into people's houses in Australia,
Yeah.
you know, they're trying to get them out,
Yeah.
and they're just like,
Yeah. Yeah, they can be really dangerous animals, but we do have a really friendly male kangaroo, and so we're doing a favor for our breeder right now, and we're actually bottle raising his next male kangaroo, the breeder that he's gonna have
oh, okay.
out there, Max.
Do you hear somebody talking? Huh? Do you hear somebody talking? You are so sweet.
He is a sweet boy.
He is.
But it took him a long time to get to the point where he's at now. So like I said, when we first got him, he was never interacted with like this. He was never touched, never handled.
That's so sad.
Well, not necessarily. So
Oh.
for a sloth that has not been raised that way, that's just all they know.
Well,
Sloths
that's
in
true.
the
I mean,
wild-
it's with anything, I mean,
Yeah.
that's just what they know.
Sloths in the wild do not want somebody to come up to them and pet them
Yeah.
and touch them. And
So
things
he
like
lived
that.
in the wild before?
No, all of the sloths that we have here have been born and raised in captivity.
Oh, okay.
But Flash was not raised in the same way that Zoe and Dash was. Those are our other two sloths, and we actually do hold them. And
Okay.
so they were conditioned from a very young age to enjoy that type of interaction.
Right.
A lot of time and conditioning and work and effort went into them so that they're, comfortable with being held. Now, Flash did not have that when growing up. He was raised around people. He had people coming into his enclosure every day to feed him and take care of him and everything.
Yeah.
But never was really handled. He wasn't raised in that way.
Okay.
And so when we first got him, he was, up at the top of his enclosure and wouldn't come down as long as we were
I was
around
gonna
there.
say, how did he act?
Yeah, and so it took him a long time to get comfortable enough to slowly start to come down and see what we're doing and what
Right.
we're about. So John, the owner, who took the
Okay,
payment,
yes.
he was, when we first got him 3 years ago, he was the primary caregiver of Flash, because back then we had 3 employees, 2 of which being the owners. So we grew a lot since then.
Yeah.
And he, Flash spent a lot of time with John, and John is the person that he's most comfortable with because of that.
Mhm.
So if he's having a slow morning and not really wanting to come down in the mornings, all John has to do is go in there and poke his head in and start talking to him. He'll come down pretty quickly. But he started to develop his own routine. So it started to become routine that John would come in here around 9:30 in the morning, start chopping up his veggies, getting everybody's breakfast ready, and then right afterwards would go in there to feed Flash. If he was in the top of his enclosure or slowly starting to come down, we'd put his food in the dish in there and he could come down whenever he would want it. But then slowly got comfortable enough to where when he heard us chopping up veggies out here, he slowly started to come down and be
Yeah.
ready for us to come in there because he knows that he's about to get his breakfast.
Right.
So then it got to the point where we'd go in there to give him his breakfast, and he's already down right there next to his bowl. So we'd hand feed him one of the veggies, and he's hesitant, but then he'd slowly take it. And slowly got to the point where that just became his routine, where he'd come down and he would get his breakfast hand fed to him. So then it got to the point where we'd be chopping up his veggies, and he'd already be down and ready for his breakfast, and sloths are very impatient sometimes. And you can see the little smear marks there in the corner of his door frame, right there on the top corner, right on the right there, the top of this door that you're.
This door here?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh.
The little smear marks right there in the corner is where he comes down and he starts to kind of peck on the glass and smear his little nose.
Oh, I
right
see
there.
right here.
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
when, he's wanting to come down and get his
He's
breakfast.
like,
So then
hello.
we open up that door and he comes out here on this branch, and this is where he gets his breakfast.
So this is where he stays in there, he
Yes.
lives in there?
Yeah, that is.
Do they swing on that rope?
No, that rope's it's just a little bit of enrichment, but it's mostly just for us to be able to prop up the door for his outdoor enclosure.
Oh,
We put
okay.
a branch, we hook a branch through there so that he has a way to get out there.
The chair over there.
But he has came a long way.
Yeah, I'd say so. Come here, Eddie. You wanna feed him again? You think he may not be hungry, maybe that's why he went over that way.
He's looking pretty interested now.
You know it? What? You want a green bean? You wanna give it to him? Sorry. Okay.
Alright guys, this is ready.
There you go.
Green beans are his favorite.
Yeah. Oh, let's see, oh, that's squash.
If he's not interested in anything else, I can always get out some more green beans.
You want that?
We have long potato. See those long stuff? Here's like a shark. We did not trim those ourselves. He has to be asleep. He has to be put to sleep and have his nails trimmed. He doesn't tolerate that. He also has really long teeth. So this guy is an arboreal animal, which means he loves to be up in the trees. He has the ability to go up a tree and down a tree at the same speed because he can rotate his ankles. Very big. This guy will eat grubs, worms, bugs, but we feed him a lot of people food. He'll eat anything you'll eat. We try to keep it on a really healthy side of what we eat. But if you were eating a cheeseburger, this guy would want one as well. One of his favorite foods is boiled eggs. His favorite fruit would be watermelon or grapes. They do eat a lot of grilled chicken, grilled turkey. They like fish as well. Funny thing is they can be picky. We have a breeding pair over here. We have Bear and Cora. We're hoping for a baby soon. She's stretched out up there on top. But even though they're the same animal, they have their own pickiness. Like he loves cheese sticks. They're not a big fan of cheese sticks. They love shrimp. He could care less about shrimp. So they're kind of picky like that. But we offer a wide variety. A lot of they're bread eaters, big bread eaters. Here you want to see in there. These guys are pickpockets though, okay? So they're geniuses. They can do anything if it doesn't require a thumb to do it. He has learned how to open doorknobs. I was blaming an employee for leaving doors open. Come to find out it was Coda here doing it himself. So we have to put a lock or a deadbolt on his enclosures to keep him in because they're very mischievous and they love to get into things. Okay.
So that's Coda, the Coatamundi. The next animal coming out is Bakugan. Bakugan, we call them that because of these Bakugan toys. If y'all remember these toys, these are the little things, they have a game that they lay out these cards and you try to make your Bakugan, you roll it and you try to make it land on your magnet, and if it does, it jumps out like that. And that's why we call this next animal Bakugan, is when he is trying to protect himself, he makes a ball like this. And then when he wants to come out, he comes out like that, just like the Bakugan toy. So when he's balled up like this, he feels safe. And this is a carapace, not a shell. So when he balls up like, because this is a mammal, reptiles have shells, mammals have a carapace. So this is a Brazilian 3-banded armadillo. He's got his 1, 2, 3 moving bands. In between the moving bands, he's got bands of skin that hold his stuff together. If you look at the front half and the back half of his carapace, you see these little star-shaped patterns that are all over it. And those are also all held together with skin. So if you look at it towards the light, you see little hairs sticking through all over this guy. And that's because all in between, all of those little bony plates, there is skin holding it together. So skin has hair follicles have hair. This is a mammal, not a reptile. There are about 50 kinds of armadillos in the world, and this is one of only 2 that can make the complete ball like this. So that's his head, that's his tail, and they just dovetail together like that. When he balls up like that, he feels safe. He says, "I don't believe you can get to me." And he's generally right, because this would stop a 22 short. Obviously, we're not going to put that to the test, but that's what they say it's good for. Then when you set him down on the ground, he just runs around like a little high-heeled potato. Or maybe a roly-poly, a really big roly-poly. He is an insectivore, meaning he loves to eat bugs. So he likes to, we get bugs shipped in here for him. He likes to eat superworms, mealworms, waxworms, hornworms. We get black soldier fly larvae and housefly pupa. We get all kind of bugs shipped in for him. And then we sprinkle them out in the dirt in his box. And then that's his natural foraging behavior, is to dig down into the box looking for the bugs to eat. The next one's coming out here have a similar theory of defense that Bakugan does. These ones, though, this is Ginger and Penelope. So these guys obviously are hedgehogs. So when a hedgehog balls up, its quills stick out tangent to its skin. So its quills can be... What is she saying? The quills stick out quite sharp from its skin, like that. But then when it opens up, like the same way the Bakugan opens up, their quills just lay down from the front to the back, and then you can just pet them from front to back like this. If you pet them from back to front, you would have a very different experience, and the first aid kit is right there. So you only want to pet them back to front. If you would like to hold these, you're welcome to, but you have to pick it up off the ground yourself. We don't hand them from person to person because sometimes people go, ah, and then the hedgehog might get dropped on the ground. If you're holding it and you're trying to take a picture and it's falling up, you take your hand and put it behind its two front feet like this, and then you can just be like, oh, we're safely together, like that. And, or you can just hold it on your hand like this and take a picture. Just don't drop these guys. Falling on concrete hurts. All right, so if you want to pick one up, this is what you do. You take your fingers like two little spatulas, and you just pick this guy up just like that. Because he's soft on the bottom, he's only sharp on the top. So you can hold him on your hand just like that. And this one is Ginger, and this one is Penelope. And I don't recommend you to hold them up against your shirt. These are nocturnal animals, and they just woke up, and you might get wet on. But hold them on your hands. All right. People often ask me if a hedgehog can, and you're welcome to walk up and pick those up. People often ask me if a hedgehog can shoot its quills like a porcupine. And I say, exactly like a porcupine, because they can't either. This is a quill from our porcupine that's out there in the petting farm. The reason that people think that a porcupine can shoot its quills is if its quill goes into your skin, it has a little hook on the end and it doesn't want to come back out. And if the porcupine gives you a little side run, you might have half a dozen of them all stuck in you at the same time. And when you leave from the porcupine, likely at a high rate of speed, the quills will come off and go with you to the hospital instead of staying with the porcupine. You guys are welcome to hand that around. It's quite a bit harder than I would have imagined, and it's pretty doggone sharp. Please don't poke your sister. But anyway, a porcupine cannot shoot its quills, and neither can a hedgehog. The porcupine that's up there in the little doghouse in the petting farm, that one is an African crested porcupine. That one can get body the size of a German Shepherd and quills as much as 4 or 5 feet long. So it's worth mentioning that as we're seeing exotic animals here, the exotic doesn't mean rare, it doesn't mean endangered, it only means not from here. So the koala money that you just saw, here we call this an exotic animal. Central and South America, they call it a pest. The armadillo, here, exotic animal, costs thousands of dollars. In Brazil, it's just an animal that runs around on the ground. We don't have any animals that are native to our environment, that would be wild animals native to our environment. That's what you call a Class 5 species. If you have a Class 5 species, the licensing requirements are rather extreme. It is, license-wise, it's easier to own a camel or a zebra than it is to own a raccoon or a squirrel. And there's good reasons for that. They don't want people to go out into the woods and just be like basically grabbing animals and using them for display. That's the big problem they have in Central and South America right now, is people grabbing sloths out of the woods and putting them into displays. And that is why we have a sloth encounter here, is so that there is an ethical and appropriate place for people to interact with sloths. It is harder to sign up for our sloth encounter here because ours only do 2 hours of encounters per day and only 2 people in an encounter. But our sloths actually enjoy human contact. That's part of the ambassador protocol, is before they come here, they have to demonstrate that they actually enjoy human contact and they actually actively seek human contact. So that's why our sloths are different than other sloths you would see in other places. Alright guys, we're going to move getting down this way, a little bit away from the noise of the fan. I'd like Kevin get these other animals gathered back up. Alright, these next animals that we're going to see, does anybody have a guess what's in here?
Oh, for sure. And if anybody else wants to move down there, you can start the next thing.
And these are sugar gliders. So sugar gliders, these little tiny animals like this. Sugar gliders are marsupials. Marsupial means mammals with pouches. So when a sugar glider is born, being a marsupial, a mammal with a pouch, into its mother's pouch and latches onto a teat and stays there for a long, long time. These two are less than a year old. These are both males. And if you would like to hold a sugar glider, what you have to do is scoop it like a pancake. Remember that you cannot scoop a pancake like this that will have a smashed pancake. And you cannot put your hand and wait for the pancake to crawl onto the spatula. If you're trying to scoop a pancake, you scoop the pancake like that. Scoop like that. So if you would like to hold one of these, scoop like pancake. There you go, good job. These two are both young males. Anybody else want to hold this one? Scoop like pancake. Scoop like pancake. Never seen a pancake before. Okay, scoop. Watch. Hard to see if you don't look. All right, scoop like a pancake, like that. Scoop. Scoop. There you go. Looky. These guys make pretty good pets. You would not want a sugar glider that sleeps in the same room that you sleep in. Sugar gliders are nocturnal. They run on a wheel at night, and they can bark like a little tiny dog. And that could keep you awake at night. So you would not want one that sleeps in the room that you sleep in. Also, if you're going to keep one of these as a pet, you need to be prepared to clean up every day because they have a little confetti party with their dry food. And the way that we do it is we keep a little small shop back next to their cage. It takes 30 seconds to clean it up. You do it once a day. You wait once a week, you know, you'll have like a frag pattern where they've had a confetti party every day for a week. Very soft, isn't he, Malachi? There he is. You got it. I'll let him come in. Well, there's the sugar glider on the mountain.
Where are we going to put it? It becomes home fast. Where are we going to put it so it doesn't
Where's the other one? All right, next we're going to see the smallest animal on.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, guys, this is the smallest animal on the farm. This is a micro squirrel. This is the world's smallest type of squirrel. So these guys are native to South Africa. This is as big as they get. These are adults. These guys max out at 20 grams. And interesting thing about a micro squirrel, their fingers are so little, he's hanging on and he doesn't fall. So you don't feel him hanging on the way you feel the sugar gliders hanging on. Just his fingers are in the lines of my skin and he doesn't fall down. This one is Tick. I don't remember this one's name. This is a newer male that we have. These guys make excellent pets. The difference between this and a sugar glider is these are not loud at night. These live in a 10-gallon aquarium. You clean that aquarium about 4 times a year, summer, winter, spring, fall once. These guys eat about $20 worth of food in a whole year. And if you go away on vacation for 4 or 5 days, throw a little extra food before you go and you're good. These will bond to an individual person. Once they're bonded to you, they don't run away from you. You can keep them in a pouch if they're not bonded yet, if they're out of their aquarium. And these guys make excellent little pets. If you feel them, it feels like they're vibrating because their heart rate is always over 200 beats per minute. And if you'd like to hold one of these, you're welcome to. Just put your hand in front of it, just like the sugar glider. You want to hold them out, Guy? There you go, buddy. Yes, you may, Levi. So this guy is the world's smallest type of squirrel. Don't squeeze him, just let him stand there. This is properly called an African pygmy dormouse or an African pygmy squirrel. And the word dormouse doesn't mean he's a mouse. It comes from the word dormir, meaning to sleep in French. They call him a dormouse, dormir, because they hibernate in the wintertime if they're wild. That was all over in there. There's no more in it. My wife is, yeah. She lets me stay around the farm the other day. No, she does all the work. She's chained to the computer and the cell phone all day, every day. And I would not envy her job at all. I'd very much rather be out here. Last year we had 4 people, this year we have 19. Social media is pretty huge. We've had people here from all 50 states and 44 countries in the past year. The 50th state just came a couple weeks ago. Idaho was the last to come. I was saying I was going to have to run an ad in Idaho, so we should be saying all 50 instead of 49. And it's funny, everybody assumed that Alaska was going to be last or Hawaii. We've got lots of people from Alaska and several from Hawaii, but Idaho was the last. Yeah, it's humbling to us how many people come out. Recently I was on a farm tour with 3 couples from Arizona who didn't know each other. They just all happened to be here from Arizona at the same time. I was on a farm tour maybe a month ago with somebody from Singapore, somebody from Guam, and somebody from Siam on the same tour. They just come from everywhere. That's the sloths. Our sloths are very, very different than other people's sloths are, and we don't charge a fortune the way that some other places do. Actually, some people will go to a different place thinking that it's going to be better because they charge 3 times more, or 5 times more than they just charge them. I was enlisted my first 10 years in the Navy, so I couldn't afford to take my family to do cool things. So now that I'm sort of a little on the other side of that, we try to make it accessible for everybody. Alright guys, next we're going to see the geek squad. Actually, no, we're going to see lizards next. Start with lizards. Alright guys, the great big sulcata tortoises that you saw up in the petting farm are adults of these. These are baby sulcata tortoises. These are less than a year old. These are two males. And these guys are the exact same kind of tortoises that you saw the big ones like this out in the petting farm. So the big one's in the petting farm. The boy is Franklin. He's about 15 years old. The girl is Fiona. She's about 20 years old. And the weird spiky one out there, they're calling Spike even though it's a girl. I don't know why. But that one is a recent rescue that was found on the side of I-40. Sulcata tortoises in the wild, their wintertime behavior would be to dig 8 or 10 feet straight down underground and then dig up and build a shell so they don't drown the rain real hard. But the problem with that here, we don't want them to dig because one, they make an 8 to 10 foot deep hole, and two, when they come out in the spring, they come out on a really shallow angle, they may come up 50 feet from where they went down and leave a great big huge rut, trough where they went through. So here their wintertime behavior is that house up there, the tan house up there in the petting farm has a tortoise heater built into the floor. That keeps them good down to about 35. And after that they come in here in the exotic farm with the other tortoise. He's a baby. Alright, the next lizard we're going to see is an iguana. This one is a green iguana. He's perfectly friendly. He just tries to hang on when I pick him up, and those claws are crazy sharp. The iguana, if you go to pet him, when you pet him right here, he feels all rough and bumpy. When you pet him right here, he feels like sandpaper. And if you pet him right here, he feels like a purse or a wallet or something. That's his dewlap. This guy loves to be petted, so please do come and pet him. Like the Coatamundi, this guy is also an arboreal creature, meaning meant to live in the trees. When he is in the trees, his legs, which are coppery brown, blend in with the branches, and his back that's green blends in with the leaves. So that's his natural size, shape, and color to help him be camouflaged. But then he has a disguise as well. He has a form of mimicry. So when he feels threatened, he will close his eyes and turn his face sideways like this, and he'll try to show this big round thing to be his eyeball, because he is mimicking a very much larger animal. If he actually had eyeballs that big, he might be an alligator or something, and most animals will be coming out at him, looking at him for a snack, might say, ooh, don't want to mess with something that much bigger than me. Because if he actually had eyeballs that size, he would be huge. Guy is a green iguana. He is at least 18 years old. This one is an albino iguana. This one is less than 1 year old. So it will take at least 6 years for this one to get as big as that one, but they are the same type of animal, because this is an albino and that is a green. And this is not an actually albino animal. Albino would be no pigment in their skin. They call this an albino because it has really low pigmentation in its skin. And
Go ahead.
but these are the same type of animal, just that guy's a senior citizen and this one is a juvenile.
How long do they live?
There have been captive ones that have been as old as 30, but and we don't know how old this is. I know where he's been for the past 12 years, and when the people that I got him from got him 12 years ago, he was already 5 feet long when they got him, and it takes at least 6 years for him to reach 5 feet. So that means he's at a minimum 18. Beyond that, we have no idea. But the captive animals that are hunted often live longer in captivity for a few reasons. One, nothing hunts them. Two, they don't have to find their own food. And three, they don't suffer from any environmental threats. And when they're in captivity, we bring them their food, we keep them the right temperature, and we keep them safe. So captive animals that are normally hunted very often live longer than wild animals. Wild animals that hunt, though, often live much longer than captive ones of the same species. My personal opinion on that, take it or leave it, is it's because when you see a lot of these captive animals that would be hunting animals, you feel all proud to be feeding them steaks and chicken and all this kind of stuff. And if they were in the wild, they would be eating the entire animal that they catch, not the just juicy steak portions. And I think, my own personal opinion, I think that they need the nutrition of eating the entire animal, not just the meat parts. So I think that that's why those type of animals tend to live shorter in captivity, but I'm not an expert on that type of animal, so take that or leave it. All right, I'm going to put this one back and get out another one. Alright guys, this one is a bearded dragon. This one is an Australian animal, and this is a good size, shape, and color to hide in the desert, yeah. So this one, good size, shape, and color to hide in the desert. Both this one and that one have something called a parietal gland on the top of their head. That senses light and dark. So if this was in the wild and I went like that over it, it would make it think something was coming down on top of it and it would go skittering into the rocks or the sand or bury itself or something. But here, this one sees this every day, so she doesn't get nervous about it. But this one and that one both have a parietal gland. This one you can see it pretty easily, it's right there. This one you can't really see it, it's covered in scales. But this one also has a form of mimicry. So that one, its form of mimicry is the false eyeballs. This one's form of mimicry is trying to mimic an animal with thorns or spikes. It's trying to say, you don't want to eat me, you're going to get a mouthful of needles. But guess what? The reason it's mimicry, not defense, is because these are fake. There is nothing sharp about any of them. It's just it trying to show itself to be sharp and dangerous. If anybody wants to hold this, put your hand out like that. There you go. These next ones right here are leopard geckos. These ones, they also have a form of mimicry, and let me give you a hint to start with. These are normally highlighter colors. They're getting ready to shed is why they're all dull colored like this. But the form of mimicry that these ones exhibit is, does anybody have an idea what they're trying to mimic? You know, right, Levi? What are they trying to trick somebody? So what is true of many lizards or amphibians that are brightly colored in the wild? Poisonous, yeah. So these ones are just strutting it out loud and proud. They're not going to hide at all. They're just walking around going, don't mess with me, I might be poisonous. He's one. All right, so parenting tip. If you were going to keep any of these as pets, the iguanas are easy. They're vegetarians. You can get everything you need for them in the produce department of your grocery store. That one eats that whole amount of that white dish over there every day. This one is an easy pet. Or the bearded dragon, easy pet. It loves to eat everything that you might put in salsa. Its favorite thing is cilantro. It loves peppers and onions and tomatoes and all kinds of other fruits and veggies as well. But kind of primarily what would go in salsa in our experience with this particular animal. And then it does need protein, but its protein can come from these little balls, which are called bearded dragon food. These ones on the top, that's a terrible pain to have for a pet because these only eat crickets. They only eat live. And you could spend the rest of your life driving back and forth to PetSmart looking for the one day this week that they have live crickets. And that can get real old real quick. So your option on that, if you really want one of those, is to have the crickets shipped to your house. There are a few companies that do that. It's not the most cost-effective way, but it might save you 5 trips a week to PetSmart looking for the one day they have crickets. All right, guys, next we're going to see the cute squad.
Oh boy.
Sometimes, yeah. If you start to grab it, just make them let go.
Why you don't like me? There's no hair. Yeah, I'm Brad.
Ready?
All right, here comes the cute squad. Come that way. All right, that one is Sloths because he looks like a ram. The leader of the pack there is Teeny because we're creative like that. The 2 gray ones are Salt and Peppers here. The tall black one there is Armadillo Ray. The taller of the 2 gray ones is Tyler because that dude looks like a lady. The shorter of the 2 gray ones is Fox because he's the fox with socks. And the one bringing up the rear down there is Liza Minnelli. The light colored goat right there is Blondie. She may or may not have a heart of glass. You're welcome to pick up the sheep and goats if you would like. You hold a sheep or goat like this, not like that, but like this. So wrap them around both ends. You're welcome to pick them up. These guys are all bottle fed, and they are heading out to the petting farm here next week. Well, a couple of things. One, they're big enough to stop eating the bottles anymore. And 2, we need that stall down there because we're about to have a baby zebra. Jaws going to have a baby very soon. New baby zebra, yeah. Alright guys, if you're trying to hold a sheep or a goat, what you do is you pick them up like this and then you hold them just like
All right. I'm gonna slide through here. Y'all having fun?
Her people are on this tour.
Oh.
This way, guys. No, that way, guys. Guys, this one is Humphrey. Humphrey is a 3-month-old baby Bactrian camel. So the most interesting thing about a camel is their ability to store and use water in the form of fat. On the hottest day in the desert, a camel can go 10 days to 2 weeks with not one single drop of water. In that period of time, they can lose 30% of their body mass to dehydration. This guy's hump is not flopped over because he's dehydrated. It just hasn't filled up yet because he's young. But this is what it would look like if a camel was dehydrated. Their hump would be loose and floppy, hanging off one side or the other. The camel, when it loses 30% of its body mass to dehydration, our big camel outside weighs 1,750 pounds. So for him to lose 30% of his body mass, we're talking about 500 pounds to dehydration. If I lost 30% of my body mass, I'm about 200 pounds, so that's me losing 60 pounds to dehydration. If I lost 60 pounds because I had no water for 10 days, I would no longer be standing here. If the camel lost 500 pounds because he had no water for 10 days, he would just be thirsty. The camel, if a camel is thirsty, oh my goodness, he's thirsty. If the big guy outside was actually 30% dehydrated, which is safe, he could drink 50 gallons of water in under 3 minutes. That begs the question, where does the water go? The only tank in the camel is the only tank for liquid water in the camel is his stomach, and his stomach only holds 7 to 10 gallons of water. So that makes a pretty reasonable question. Where does he put 50 in 3 minutes? So the way that it works, camels, like people, are born with the approximate number of fat cells that they're ever going to have. But camels, like people, those fat cells can be very different size at different times in life. We're all basically normal sized people. So suppose this was normal size for a human fat cell, and we had a burning desire to show at the star and to show my 600-pound life, and we ate food with no limit whatsoever for years, our fat cells can go from something like this to something like that. Dozens or hundreds of times their original volume. The camel is the opposite. Camel walks around with his fat cells. His normal is what we would call super morbidly obese. Or our normal is what he would call severely dehydrated. And his his fat cells make that range of size in a dehydration-rehydration cycle. As the camel dehydrates, his red blood cells go from oval just whoop, down to flat. His fat cells shrink from normal for a camel to normal for a human. Difference is that for a human to go from this to that is years of eating unlimited amounts of ridiculous amounts of food. For a camel to go from this to that is 40 seconds on an individual cell basis, about 3.5 minutes on a whole body basis. When they do that, their red blood cells go boom, right back to oval, and their fat cells go whoop, right back from normal for a human to normal for a camel. It takes about 40 seconds individual cell, about 3.5 minutes for the whole body. So a camel can go from emaciated and in danger, and Kevin the monkey's getting your camera. The camel can go from emaciated and in danger of his life back to completely normal in about 3 minutes. The Bible story that this taught me something about the Bible. When the servant is looking for a bride for his master's son, and he says, "Oh Lord, let it be a sign to me that the young woman would offer to water not only me but the camels as well." Before I had camels, I'm like, so what? I mean, I water animals every day, right? But now that I have camels, and I realize that, he was walking 10 camels loaded with gifts is what it says. And our big little camel out there could drink 30 gallons, and our big camel could drink 50 gallons at one shot. So now we're talking about some young lady going to dip up 300 to 500 gallons of water with a bucket. That hits a little different. And so what that taught me about the Bible is the fact that I don't understand it doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means I don't understand, because the Bible is true and accurate in every way. So when I run into something that I don't understand, I am welcome to believe until maybe later I'll understand, or maybe not. But that's what I learned from camels. You guys are welcome to pet this guy if you like, just a couple at a time so you don't scare him. And this guy is a Bactrian camel. Dromedaries are the one-hump camel. Capital D had one hump. Capital B, Bactrian would have 2 humps if it was laying on its back. So B is for Bactrian, D is for dromedary. The Bactrians are much more rare than the dromedaries. There are at least 50 million dromedary camels in the world, and there are under 100,000 Bactrian camels in the world. And the Bactrian camels can be wild all the way up into Siberia. Yes. That's what kind of camel he is a 2-hump Bactrian camel.
Yeah. Mr. John, are we good to bring a wheelchair next time?
Yeah. I have the same license as a zoo. We just don't rebrand as a zoo because, in my opinion, zoo is a place with a whole lot of people and not that many animals, or even a lot of animals, but you're not necessarily gonna up close see those animals. Here, you're gonna see them, touch them, pet them, hold them in both cases. So my goal is that people will leave here actually knowing something about the animal, having experienced the animal directly, and that's why I don't rebrand as a zoo. Place to scratch his face, doesn't he?
Yeah.
George Big would say, he has all those. I think some of you have a fennec fox encounter right now, and Tame is ready for you out there in the pavilion. And everybody else, it is not the Bum Crush. If you have any questions about any animal you saw today, I'm happy to answer you. Yeah, that's fine.
Ellie? Yeah, that's
You're welcome. Thanks for coming out today. Georgie, hey, come here. Georgie.
He was 8 years old. Yeah, he definitely likes this. He definitely
He's awesome like that.
Sir?
Yes. If I could train him, that would be awesome.